Now back to the Sports Carnival live from the Trauma Center studios. He wishes he could grow a man bun, but that ship had sailed long ago. Here's your host, Dave Carney.
Dude, my hair went down in the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Gordon Lightfoot wrote a fucking song about how long ago my hair went out. Before we bring our good buddy Matt Janus on, I just want to say a really quick hi and a thank you to my good friend Joe from Helping Hands Landscaping, serving La Crosse and the Onalaska areas. When you're in need of snow removal this winter, folks, or lawn maintenance and upkeep, call my friend Joe at Helping Hands Landscaping. Chad, we're pretty much taking care of all the home needs here on the Sports Carnival. Preferred Insurance. The Preferred Insurance team is the official insurance provider, Auto, Home, Life, Flood. We've got Kyle Cable, One Trust Real Estate, and our good buddies over at the Midwest Mortgage team, who, Chad, hooked us up with these sweet hats yesterday.
I'm excited.
Oh, my gosh. I've got your address. I'm going to be sending you this one coming up later today. So thanks so much to all of our supporters. And Matt Janus, the head coach of the University of La Crosse Eagles football team, has always been a big supporter of mine. And Chad, I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan of Matt's coaching every day. Matt, before we get into anything and I ask you questions, I'm just going to wax poetic for a second. You know how affectionate I am towards Mike Schmidt, great friend of mine and the show. Matt, what you have done with this Eagles team over the last couple of seasons has exceeded everybody's expectations that I've ever talked to. The folks around town here, as much love as they've had for all of the past coaches, think that you are perhaps the second best coach outside of Roger Herring to ever coach at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. Now, Chad, Roger Herring is a college football all-timer, a national championship winner multiple times over. So, brother, I just want to say congratulations. Whatever you're doing, even if it's cutting the man bun, it's working.
No, hey, guys, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Dave. I got I got handed the reins to a pretty special program in a really good spot, and Mike is such a phenomenal job during his tenure here, and he really he laid the blueprint for everything, and I just kind of carried along with what we had going and added my own little twist to it. And the reality is, I hired really good people around me. I still don't know if I know what I'm doing, but I have phenomenal people around me that have been able to carry this thing, that have been able to instill the culture that we wanted, and obviously just a tremendous belief in this place, in this university, in the city, and in our football program.
Well, Matt, I think that being a smart guy, you know how to bring in people that can help you. And that really and truly, as a head football coach, position coaches are different. As a head football coach, your role is much more as an administrator than it is necessarily in X's and O's, even though you get into that. You call the defensive plays for the team too, but it is knowing how to put people in the right spots, especially your coaches. Let me ask you this, because I want to get into a lot of what we saw on Saturday. I was watching it on, and I didn't get the group to come with me that I'd hoped, like Jared popping up on screen here. But I watched the game in just intense interest and intrigue. And Matt, there was so much that I want to peel away from. The first thing is this: who calls your offense? Because I saw some formations, the fullback getting pulled, running back in pistol, Helter Brandon shotgun. Who is coming up with some of the offensive schemes, and who's making these calls?
Yeah, that's our offensive coordinator. That's Coach McGuire right here, and obviously Coach McGuire, our offensive line coach. They have they just kind of work hand in hand with everything, and they do such a good job that they're on the same page with what we're trying to get done. They do such a great job of using our personnel. We have a tremendous depth on the offensive line. We got tremendous depth at the running back position, at the quarterback, at all the skill positions. So they do such a great job putting our guys in the right spot. They do a great job game planning. I mean, they're they're across the hall right now, locked in their little dungeon right there, getting trying to figure out the best ways to attack Stevens Point, and have been for the last 24 hours here. But really, it's a credit to those guys and the way they've done, and we've been able to have a lot of consistency with those two guys there over the last 3 years, and our players are really, really comfortable with our schemes and what our rules are, and how we attack inside zone, how we attack different fronts. So it's a credit to those guys and the creativity that they have, and the consistency that they've provided to this program.
Well, Matt, the 51-21 victory on Saturday was one of the largest victories and some of the most points. Chad, if we can get that slide while we're working through this up, because I want to show this to our audience again. Yep. The 51 points were the most scored since, I believe, 1997, when UWL put up 55 points. Eau Claire traditionally had been a team that when UWL traveled to Eau Claire Eau Claire would come out with a victory. And when Eau Claire would come down to La Crosse would get a victory. It's starting to change now. And over the last few years with Mike Schmidt and yourself, you've been able to get some of those victories up there. But this was this was a telltale victory. And one of the things that I want to get to now is the running game, because we're talking a lot, Matt, about the lack of a running game for the Green Bay Packers. But you and I specifically have talked so much about the importance of the running game in the WIAC. And for the Eagles to be a successful team, a championship level team, the running game is going to need to be a big part of it. Now, you've got a couple of great running backs, Joey Stutzman and Brent Baum. Joey Stutzman, the leading rusher in the WIAC, had only one touch coming into Saturday's game, Coach, scored twice and had a great overall game. And Brent had a great game as well, had some good moments on kickoff and punt returns and really spelled in the second half, I thought, Stutzman quite well. Then you've got Max Helterbrand, who is your alternate quarterback. I don't know if you say 1 or 1A or A or B. I don't know how you guys do that. But Helterbrand, as your second quarterback, if you will, was great on the ground and also had some great moments through the air. But he's the number 3 rusher in the WIAC. You know, when you look at that, Matt, is it a dedication to the game, the running game itself? Is it the fact that you've got these talented guys that can really get out there and work it? What do you think goes into making that running game so successful? Again, 386 yards on the ground.
I think there's kind of a couple different things, and you kind of hit on them. I mean, really, the first thing it's a major focus. So I give our team, we only focus on 7 things every week. It's the same 7 things every single week. And number 1 is dominate on special teams. And the very next thing after that is our rushing offense and our rushing defense. I just believe that in order to win football games, at some point you have to be able to run the football. And maybe it's to run out the clock, or maybe it's because you want to establish a run game throughout the whole game. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, you have to be able to run the football, and you have to be able to stop the run on defense. Like, I just believe in those 2 things. And so we had that with our guys, and really, then from there, then it kind of carries over to the talent that we have up front. And, we talked about it, I think last week, is just how hard that is to develop at the Division III level, how hard it is at any level to develop your offensive line to get them to where you want them to be or where you expect them to be. So we've been able to do that with the group that we've had. I mean, we got guys on our offensive line that, I was just talking about Connor Berry to our team last week. Connor Berry's been playing here since 2018 and started as a true freshman for us, and is now kind of in whatever this is, year 5 now. Year 6 technically with the COVID, right? With the COVID stuff. So, to have guys like that and Cole Greco and Mike Bertoya and Alex Bongers and, those guys all started in 2019. So we have a group that's very veteran-led up front. And they've been together with the same offensive line coach. They've been together with the same offensive coordinator. And so that group has just been enabled them to grow. And then, you kind of said it. You're able to add a back like Joey Stutzman, and he's just such a special player. There's not many people that come around that you get the chance to coach. He's just a football guy through and through. Wants to practice all the time. Wants 100 carries in practice. Wants 100 carries in the game. Doesn't ever want to come out. He wants the ball in every critical situation. So it helps when you got guys like that. And then you add the depth with Brant behind him. And then, we have 2 really talented freshman backs in that group that, towards the end of that game got to see a few carries. And then obviously with Kaiser, he brings the quarterback and Helterman brings the quarterback run game. So that's a whole new element. So now you're talking like, as teams have to defend us, you got to stop the RPO. We have talented receivers on the outside. And then we got this running game where we're going to run power and zone. And then all of a sudden you got a quarterback that you have to account for in the box. That's a pretty good athlete. And has broken over the last 3 games, or 2 games has broken, I think, over 3 60-yard runs. So that kind of adds to that element of having to play some type of different coverages when Kaiser's in the game versus when Kay's in the game. And obviously the run fits that kind of come out and makes it really difficult, I think, and being a defensive guy for opposing defenses.
Well, it's got to be more than just a little difficult, because, Chad, what the Eagles do, and for those that are just watching this now, maybe for the first time and haven't seen this Eagles football team, they use 2 quarterbacks. But, Matt, it's not the way that you would have seen even Tom Brady get used at Michigan, where they kind of swap players in and out, snap by snap. You give your quarterbacks series. You give them entire drives. You let that go whichever way it's going to go, and you let that entire drive work out. I would have to imagine, as a defensive coordinator, that would be the height of difficulty, because you've got to prepare for a guy that's more of a pocket passer, even though Cade Garcia, to his credit, had a nice little bootleg run in the first quarter versus Eau Claire, which I was really happy to see. Keeps the defense honest. You got to like that. But it's got to be really hard to prepare for. I do want to focus on Helterbrand, though, just for a moment, because while Cade was sort of looked at state quarterback 1A and Helterbrand 1B, Helterbrand is looking like, to many, and I was talking yesterday with Kyle Cable from One Trust Real Estate, Helterbrand's looking a little bit like a Lamar Jackson type in the WIAC. Being that he's got the wheels and he can definitely get out and scramble. He's a large guy, so he's not exactly an easy tackle. And his throwing is good enough. He had a really nice play down the left side of the field, about a 45, 50-yard pass that was just beautiful. His throwing is getting to that point, too, where you have to respect the kid's ability with his arm. He went 6 for 7 in the game on Saturday. Has there ever been a time, Matt, where you've actually contemplated switching to one quarterback and saying, listen, we're just going to stay with one quarterback and we'll see what happens with this guy? Or are you pretty dedicated this entire season, as you've been from the outset, from what I can extrapolate, to saying, look, we've got 2 quarterbacks and they're both going to play no matter what?
Yeah, we've never wavered. It's always going to be the 2 quarterbacks, and I need them both to win football games. They know that. They both, and Coach McGuire does such a good job of using their strengths and everything. But we do. We need them both to be able to do this thing. There's just they both have an excellent set of skill sets, and so we got to lean on them both. And you're right. I was pleased with the way Kaiser threw the ball yesterday on Saturday. I thought, that was one thing we wanted to kind of see. And he goes, like you kind of said it, his numbers were pretty good. And, those guys, and part of what makes this, we grade our quarterbacks every game. We grade every position. And, even go back to the Eau Claire game, Kaiser grades out at, I think, about 91%, and Cade grades out about 95%. So it's pretty spot on with those 2 guys. And that's why they continue to both just kind of alternate series as we go through this. And, we've been on the same page with those guys, and Coach McGuire, they've all worked together on all that. They've been on the same page the whole season, and we're going to keep it up and keep attacking it with 2 different quarterbacks.
Well, Matt, the WIAC is just an incredible league, and for what it's worth, this year in the WIAC has just been crazy because you've got teams like Stevens Point who are putting up 71 in certain games. You've got a team like Whitewater who goes to Eau Claire and plays a really tough game. Eau Claire is able to hang with this team. You blow the doors off of them. You guys, of course, had that heartbreaker here in La Crosse, 31-34 to Whitewater. But this WIAC, at least in my estimation, this year, maybe more than any, is up in the air. So let's talk about that a little bit. Where we're sitting right now, just a couple of games into the conference schedule. What are we, 3-4 games into the conference schedule now? What are the prospects for the postseason? How is everything sort of shaken out? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, right now we would need probably Whitewater to lose twice, and we gotta win out. That's all we can control. I feel really good about getting extended games if we can win out here, and so that's what we have to do. Our team, we've discussed that as a team. We got to win the next 4, and like you said, with our league, that's not easy. Like, that's hard. This league is special. It really is, and everybody from the outside, we're looked on nationally as the greatest conference, and there's a reason for that. The greatest conference in Division III, and there's a reason for that because this is how our league goes. It's any given Saturday. It really is, and it's a week-to-week league. It doesn't matter what you did the week before. Every opponent that we line up to, these are physical football games. Even going back Saturday, that was a physical football game. Stout the week before was a physical football game. Why it's what makes our league so special. It's why I love this. That's why this coaching in our league, in our conference, in our state, like, you give me one of those league schools, ours or another opponent's, and you give me that and be able to coach a game on Saturday, like, that's my true passion. That's what I love to do. Like, there's nothing else like it in the world for me. Some people want to coach in Super Bowls and big stadiums. Like, I want to be in the state of Wisconsin in the fall coaching within our league because of that, because you're going to get good coaches. You're going to get good players every single week, and every single week's going to be a battle. I can't overlook any team on our schedule in our league. You can't. Otherwise, they're going to beat you.
Matt, this is another reason that Eagles fans are so lucky to have you, is that you want to be the Eagles coach. And that's why you can tell the fan base, it's just all returned. The packed houses at Roger Herring Stadium, you can just see the excitement, the enthusiasm is back. I appreciate you joining us, brother. It's always good to see you. Appreciate you, and good luck this upcoming weekend. Can't wait to see the next game.
You bet, you guys. We'll see you. Am I going to see you Saturday?
Yes, you will. You'll see me Saturday.
The Pearl Street tent?
That's right, baby.
Yeah, heck yeah. We'll see you there, man. Thank you guys.
All right.
Go Eagles.
Hey.